stories you are about to see are real. The rewards up to $5 million are real. This is Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous, the criminals don't. I'm Dave Michaels with this late-breaking story. An early morning ride turned into a near-death experience for one man. Deputies say a man that was shot in the face multiple times after he picked up a stranger. According to the incident report, 39-year-old David Towns and his friend picked up a stranger at a gas station downtown. The stranger told them his name was TJ and he'd take them to see some girls. The witnesses told deputies they got to the Good Hope Baptist Church parking lot. TJ asked them if they had any weapons. They told him no. Then he pulled out a handgun and shot Towns in the face and ran away. Towns is recovering from non-life-threatening gunshot wounds at GRU. If you know who or where this guy that goes by the name TJ may be, please call Calvin Chu at 706-821-1080, Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you may remain anonymous and get paid.
On April 22nd, on Tuesday night, South Carolina Highway Patrol chased an SUV onto Broad Street about 8 p.m., where the occupant or occupants bailed after their SUV became high-centered on a curve that they tried to jump. The occupants may have opened fire on cars around the 4th and Broad Street area to try to hijack them. At least one gunshot was fired at me before I zipped into Ellis to put an overpass between myself and the next round. Deputy Mike Swint read our Facebook page and said, "Ugh, glad you're safe," to which I replied, "Thank you, Mike. Crime Stoppers nomination for Deputy of the Year." Your life sort of passes in front of you when that happens, but we have contacted all the major media and they are racing to broadcast so we can alert everybody before they get hurt. Then Crime Stopper Casey Barkyface wrote in, "Griff, I am so happy you are all right. Please stay safe." And Nelda Elliott wrote in saying, "Stay safe out there, please." To which we responded, "Thank you. We would say more, but we're busy producing CrimeReportsAndRewards.com. And now for an update on the SUV abandoned after being chased by South Carolina Highway Patrol from South Carolina into Georgia and abandoned on Broad Street. Richmond County Sheriff's Office dispatch has confirmed 4 black males were seen running behind the new hotel on Broad, directly across from the location the SUV South Carolina Highway Patrol was chasing. The 4 black males' descriptions are as follows. One black male was wearing a black sweatshirt with white patches. One black male was wearing a white jacket over dark clothing. 2 black males were wearing gray clothing. They may have run behind the hotel after bailing from their SUV, decided to split up with some going east and some going west, but we don't know. We do not know where they are, but we do know somebody fired a shot in what we believe was an attempt to carjack a white-in-color BMW that escaped hijacking by outmaneuvering the shooter. If you know where any of these black males may be found, please call dispatch at 706-821-1080, Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or text or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org. Because this is a carjacking risk and a live manhunt, we are waiving the requirement to call Crime Stoppers first in order to get a cash reward, and ask that you call dispatch directly at 706-821-1080 so we can prevent a possible carjacking or worse. And now for a breaking news special report. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office is currently searching for the second hit-and-run vehicle in Saturday, April 12th's deadly hit-and-run accident, which resulted in 1 fatality and left another juvenile in critical condition. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office is searching for a dark in color Chevy Impala driven by a male identified only as black. The suspect's vehicle may be an Impala, and it's only described as dark in color. At this time, the Sheriff's Office is looking for a 1993 through 1997 Toyota Corolla. The vehicle will have front end and driver side damage. The driver side headlight lens will be damaged along with the driver side view mirror. The Toyota emblem will also be missing from the front area of the vehicle. The vehicle may have an aftermarket gold trim around the base. If anyone has any knowledge of this incident or knows the whereabouts of the mentioned vehicles, please contact the Richmond County Sheriff's Office at 706-821-1483. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or text and email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and save kids. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office got a call to a clothing store on Deansbridge Road about 3:55 a.m. Monday morning. The store owner says someone shot up Big City Clothing on Deansbridge Road, causing thousands of dollars in damages. If you know who or where the shooters are that shot up Big City Clothing on Deansbridge Road, please call Captain Calvin Chu at 706-821-1080. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or text and email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and unshot. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's assistance in identifying the person you see on your screen. On Thursday, March 20th, at approximately 10:21 hours, the person pictured entered the Wells Fargo, located at 3115 Peach Orchard Road, and presented and cashed a stolen forged document. The suspect fled the scene in an unknown direction and by unknown means after cashing the stolen document. Anyone with information leading to the identity of this person is asked to please notify the Richmond County Sheriff's Office at 706-821-1080. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and get paid. Captain Steve Morris of the Columbia County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help finding these two subjects that are suspected of stealing a flat-screen TV on April 3rd. The couple you see on your screen stayed overnight at the Howard Johnsons on Jimmy Dias Parkway in Columbia County, and the flat-screen TV in their room was missing when they left the next day. If you think you know who or where they may be, please call the Columbia County Sheriff's Office at 706-541-2800. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or text and email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and keep your TV. Captain Steve Morris of the Columbia County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help finding this suspected Grovetown Wally World shoplifter. Spot him and get paid. Call 800-222-TIPS, or text or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and know of companies that need to hire more folks. On April 19th at 0952 hours, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office received a robbery of a business call to 3444 Mike Paget Highway at the Sprint food store. Preliminary information indicates a black male standing about 6'2" with dreadlocks was wearing a camo t-shirt, gray basketball shorts, and a black mask when he entered the store, produced a handgun, and demanded the money. After receiving an undisclosed amount of money, the subject fled the scene on foot and was last seen running behind T's Restaurant. If you know who or where this armed black male robber may be, please call Sergeant Michael Shane McDaniel Sr. at 706-821-1080. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or text your tips to tips at AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you stay anonymous and unrobbed.
Let's face it, folks, crime can strike at any time, and we have to do all we can to make ourselves and our homes a safer place. Quit just talking about it and just go ahead and do it. Please, go down to your local Humane Society and adopt a good watchdog. For around $100, you get the dog that has already been fixed, had all its shots, with an ID chip in every dog. I prefer a big dog with a big bark. Crooks will not usually hit the house with the aggressive bark behind the door. Just think, a good watchdog might just be the right move for you in these very dangerous times of crimes.
911. I just broke into a house and the owners came home.
You broke into a house?
Yeah.
Where at?
I don't know.
Okay, so are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, so are you with...
I think they have guns.
Okay, where are you?
I don't know.
You have no clue where you are.
And now, we'll be right back after these messages.
You sure? Yeah, just go. Okay, now, blow it out. Blow.
You did it, kid.
You're in.
You're one of us now.
You did it.
All this is yours.
We're gonna be shooting up together.
We're gonna steal together.
Sleeping together,
We're gonna
too.
sleep together. You are gonna love every single minute.
No! I'm trying it just this once.
I'm Dave Michaels with this edition of Spot Crime, where we spotlight crimes around the CSRA. We've had 34 assaults in the CSRA. They took place on the 500 block of 15th Street, the 2100 block of C Street, the 2100 block of A Street, the 2800 block of Pepperdine Drive, the 2000 block of Ashley Street, the 1600 block of Lucky Street, Barton Chapel Road, the 1000 block of Clausen Road, the 1300 block of Lenny Walker Boulevard, the 100 block of Avondale Drive, the 2200 block of Southgate Drive, the 1700 block of S.E. McIntyre Boulevard, the 1600 block of Central Avenue, the 2700 block of Thomas Lane, the 2800 block of Glen Hills Court, the 5000 block of Charlie Drive, the 3600 block of J. Dewey Gray Circle, the 2800 block of Caramon Way, the 2200 block of Bandler Road, the 200 block of the Robert C. Daniel Parkway, the 3300 block of Deansbridge Road, the 4400 block of Ederly Drive, the 1100 block of Roselle Street, the 2800 block of Central Avenue, the 1700 block of Walton Way, the 4000 block of Peach Orchard Road, and the 3100 block of Peach Orchard Road, the 200 block of Deerfield Lane, the 2100 block of Gatewood Drive, the 2200 block of Southgate Drive, the 2400 block of Winston Way, the 1600 block of Roosevelt Street, the 400 block of First Street, and the 4300 block of Milledgeville Road. We've had 28 burglaries. They took place on the 2400 block of Brigade Court, the 600 block of Bristol Street, the 3200 block of Heritage Court, the 2300 block of Tubman Home Road, the 700 block of Grosse Tree Court, the 3000 block of Richmond Hill Road, the 2400 block of Golden Camp Road, the 2200 block of Broad Street, the 2300 block of Palig Court, the 3100 block of Greensboro Way, the 200 block of East Telfair Street, the 500 block of Forest Road, the 200 block of Telfair Street, the 1400 block of Ruffin Road, the 3100 block of Augusta Tech Drive, the 1800 block of Covington Place, the 2500 block of Madrid Drive, the 1700 block of West Valley Parkway, the 3200 block of Deansbridge Road, the 200 block of Walnut Street, the 4300 block of White Pine Court, the 2700 block of Barclay Street, the 3200 block of Paley Court, the 2400 block of Amsterdam Drive, the 2200 block of Woodward Avenue, the 2500 block of Lyman Street, the 2100 block of Harding Road, and the 3000 block of Deansbridge Road. We've had 2 robberies around the CSRA. They took place on the 600 block of Macon Avenue and the 3400 block of Wrightsboro Road. 1 damage to property took place on the 3400 block of Jonathan Circle, 1 reckless conduct on Windsor Springs Road, and 1 drug arrest on the 2200 block of Gordon Highway. If you have any information on these or any other crimes throughout the CSRA, call our tip line at 1-800-222-TIPS, where you can remain anonymous and get paid.
The Columbia County Sheriff's Office reports a Columbia County firefighter's home was burglarized while he was working a 24-hour shift during the ice storm. Firefighter Jeff Prouty's family says the burglars took off with expensive electronics and priceless family heirlooms. Crime Stoppers want you to know that burglars and thieves are sometimes looked on and protected by entire communities as Robin Hoods who rob from the rich and give to the poor. Only we never see them giving to the poor unless it's a poor crack dealer. There is a certain attitude that if you're not standing guard over your stuff 24/7 that you have too much stuff and you don't need that much stuff anyway. But the facts are that most jobs lost now are the result of thieves and robbers wiping out entire companies when they steal the things that company needs to do their jobs. If a truck is loaded with all kinds of tools that an entire crew of workers needs to do their work with is stolen, as several have been lately, every worker loses their job until that truck and tools are replaced. Sadly, most of the time nowadays that never happens and everyone just loses their job. The good news is these thieves gather in locations all over the CSRA to swap their stolen items for drugs and guns. And when they have these swap meets, they sometimes gather in large crowds. Keep your eyes open for sudden gatherings of people pulling things out of their trunks to sell and flash mobs of customers gathering to buy. This is when you can call the cops and have them ask for ID and inquire about where all this stuff came from. Most of the time, the thieves and burglars are driving on a suspended license, have outstanding warrants, or are fleeing from crimes they just committed and are at the swap meet to buy guns and other items they intend to use to keep on robbing and thieving. So even though the cops may not be able to bust them for all the stolen stuff they're selling, at least they get slowed down a little with court appearances and sometimes even jail. Anytime you see a large group of suspicious individuals gather very quickly and start pulling things out of their trunk and offering them for sale, typically for next to nothing, or if someone is offering you something that they have no reason to have, then you are probably looking into the eyes of a burglar who may take a liking to your stuff too. If you know where any one of these people selling stolen items are, or know how police may find any of their thousands of burglars who are wiping out all the jobs in the area, please call Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous and keep your stuff.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
Also tonight, the director of Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers standing by his principals, refusing to turn over an anonymous tip to a judge by literally eating it. Yep, there it goes, right there into his mouth. And now that cop is being held in contempt. Local 10 News reporter Victor Okendo is live at Crime Stoppers headquarters in Doral to explain this one.
Lori, after years on the force, Richard Maston joined Crime Stoppers in 2008. Now he's standing up for something that he believes in, and unless he stands down, he faces up to 14 days in jail. How far would you go to protect something you believe in?
The issue is the court asking Crime Stoppers to go back to their promise.
Yes, that's paper that former cop Dick Maston munched on Friday. Why? Because Maston is the executive director of Crime Stoppers Miami, and he refused Judge Victoria Brennan's order to divulge information from a tip.
I was afraid that I was going to be taken into custody and that would be part of the property, and there it goes. So I had a little lunch.
That lunch contained details about the tip and tipster that had called Crime Stoppers, and it's now making its way through Maston's system.
With all due respect to you, I think your client's very passionate about
He is that.
but I think sometimes passion can cloud judgment.
We promise the people that give us information to solve murders, serious violent crimes in this community, that they can call us with an assurance that they will remain anonymous and that nothing about them or their information will ever be compromised.
This all stems from a cocaine possession charge. The state versus Lisette Alvarez.
There's absolutely no information that I am looking for that has to do with the name or the identity of a tipster. It's only the evidence that would be used in trial against her that the tipster provided.
A defendant could work that case backwards and put the tipster at peril, and I'm not going to let that happen.
How'd that taste?
Pretty dry, to tell you the truth.
And Maston has until Thursday to decide on whether or not he will give up that tip sheet. But he told our Local 10 crime specialist, John Turchin, that next time he sees a judge, he'll just bring his toothbrush. Doesn't sound like he'll be giving up too much information anytime soon. We're in Doral. I'm Victor Okendo, Local 10 News.
Chairman of the board of Augusta Crime Stoppers, Douglas M. Day, EARIA, is helping area law enforcement find and question the person of interest in this photograph. They were taken at the scene of about $100,000 in damages to a house that was torn apart on the inside, every door kicked in, and a forest fire set ablaze around the house, destroying several valuable trees. They appear to be a white male who is driving a 2001 Pontiac Aztec van, which was yellow in color with black or brown factored rims that are badly painted. The picture was taken on Rollins Road. The white male you see is likely the driver of the 2001 yellow Aztec. The tag looks like the last four digits could be 3552, or it's almost like BCA or 3CA 2552 or 3552. If you think you know who or where this subject may be, please call Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous and get paid. Columbia County Sheriff's Office is looking for the two black males you see on your screen. They walked into a Columbia County jewelry store and presented a counterfeit bank check for over $9,000, then walked out of the jewelry store with a very expensive diamond. They left the store driving in a dark in color Chrysler 300. While they were there, the jeweler called someone at the bank who said the cashier's check was good. But after they left, the jeweler was told by someone else at the bank that the cashier's check was counterfeit. So even though there was money in that account, the check was counterfeit, so the jeweler is out the $9,000+. If you know who or where these two suspects are, please call Investigator Van Vactor of the Columbia County Sheriff's Office at 706-541-2800. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and can get paid enough to buy your own diamonds. Now for a Crime Stoppers International special report. Reports are pouring in from all over the U.S. that thugs are sucker punching people for the fun of it. So far, all of the attackers have been black males or a black male walking behind a group, which so far have been all black males. The game they're playing is a game they call the knockout game. Black males are targeting other races that they hate or just perfect strangers that they see an opportunity to knock out, then sometimes rob. Now, groups of typically young black males get close enough, they try to knock out anyone they can with a sucker punch that no one would ever expect. So far, several victims of this hate crime have come forth, and surveillance video is all over YouTube under the title, The Knockout Game.
But the question of race, I mean, frankly, so far it's been African Americans, as far as I can see, on whites. I don't know if it's completely that way, but that's what we've seen.
Well, is true. That is exactly what you're saying. And this talks to the state of depravity that is in the black community right now. And again, where are these black leaders that should be talking about this breakdown? Where are the parents? Where are the guardians of the black community to say this is unacceptable behavior? Now, this is what's going to end up happening. At some point in time, one of the people that's going to be attacked is going to have a concealed weapons license. And they're going to draw down, and unfortunately, someone's going to get shot. Then what is going to happen? You're going to hear all of the rhetoric coming out from the Al Sharptons, the Jesse Jacksons, that this unarmed black teenager was shot and killed and assaulted, when right now they should be out there stopping this so we don't get to this point.
Because the knockout game is spreading everywhere, don't let thugs get close enough to sucker punch you. If a group that looks like they're up to no good approaches you on a street, get to the other side or duck into a storefront and get ready to defend yourself. If they get close enough to sucker punch you, they may and are on video doing just that. They think it's funny. No one is laughing. Share this with everyone you can before they knock you out and you can't. If you suspect a group or individual is planning on running around sucker punching people, please call your local law enforcement or call Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or text your tip to 803-441-8744 or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous, but the criminals don't. Between Saturday, April 19th at 2100 hours and Sunday, April 20th at 0600 hours, numerous vehicles throughout the Windermere subdivision off of Deansbridge Road had been broken into. The owners of these vehicles reported numerous items stolen. Sunday evening, April 20th, at approximately 1720 hours, one suspect was seen in the Smart Grocery at 3221 Wrightsboro Road, cashing in several lottery tickets that had been taken out of one of the vehicles that had been broken into earlier in the morning. The suspect is described as a black male of medium build, light-skinned, early 20s, with braids in his hair, clean shaven, and is wearing a white t-shirt with a skull design on the front, a green and black jacket, and dark-colored jeans. This suspect was last seen in a white in color older model, approximately 2005 Chevrolet Impala. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office is asking anyone with any information leading to the identity of the suspect is asked to call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office at 706-821-1080. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or email or text your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and stop car break-in.
You've been watching Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous. The criminals don't. If you have any information on these or any other crimes, call our national tip line at 1-800-222-TIPS. Well, you'll stay anonymous and could get a cash reward. You can see this or any other episode of Crime Reports and Rewards on the web anytime at crimereportsandrewards.com. Crime Reports and Rewards is a production of Michaels Media.